Lord have mercy. Like, it's just, parenting is difficult. Welcome to the show. Well, hey, y'all, and welcome to the Everyday Truths podcast, where we make faith real and relevant so we can live it out in our everyday lives. Today, I am joined by my husband, Wesley, and we're hanging out in our home, and we're going to be talking about parenting, one of the many topics that you guys sent in that you wanted to hear us talk about. And so let's get into it. Oh, well, hey, y'all. And welcome to the Everyday Truths podcast. I'm Sherry Richard, the creator of Everyday Truths, and this is my husband, Wesley, who has joined me today, today, to talk about another question that's come in. Welcome to our home. We're filming in our home today in our living room. We have the camera strategically angled so you can't see the mess, and so it's just we're doing what we got to do.
If only you could pan around.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
It's mostly that it's just a little disheveled because we had to move.
It looks like a home we live in.
It does, because we do in fact live here. Mm-hmm. And so today we're going to be answering another question that came in, and it was a question about parenting. And hopefully if you're not a parent and you're like, this doesn't apply to me, I think that if you have kids in your life, I think that maybe even if just relationships in your life, as we talk about this topic, that hopefully this just rings true for you. But let's see. So we're going to talk about, it was just a question. It said, what topics do you want us to talk about? Mm-hmm. And it said parenting. So
just generally parenting?
It just said parenting. One word.
The most difficult of things in life.
Lord have
that I'm discovering.
Mercy.
And still don't know how to do at all.
No, it's like,
it's terrifying and the most fulfilling thing simultaneously. Not even like this was a terrifying day, this was a fulfilling day. It's like somehow the same time terrifying and fulfilling.
Absolutely. 100%. And so when I first started the podcast, I was in my counselor's office. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And she was like, you're not supposed to. You've never done it before. I feel like that doesn't work for parenting. You're not supposed to do this. This is, you've never done it before. I'm like, no, there is a requirement.
No, I think that that absolutely is. I mean, there's some like a basic, like you have to keep your children alive or they take you to jail. Like you have to feed them. You have to put clothes on them. You have to take them to school.
And what if here's the thing, they don't want to do most of those things.
Oh, Lord.
Lord have mercy. Mm-hmm. But it is your first time. I saw this thing and it's like, why are first children so uptight? And it's like, because they were raised by people who weren't parents.
Right.
Anyhow, so parenting, interesting topic. But before we jump into that, actually, I have to say one more thing because I don't want to get distracted in it when we get into the actual topic.
Right.
Something that has been troubling to me recently. Troubling's not the right word, but it did hit for some reason. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's because it means our kids are getting bigger, but we had our first like Gen Z or Gen Alpha. I always forget which they are. I think there's still, I don't know. Now I'm going to look it up.
They've got to be Alpha.
They've got to be Alpha.
Our oldest is 10.
I don't know.
He's
anyway,
Alpha.
Doesn't matter. So, well, hold on. No, I'm not going to be able to stand it. Let's see.
All right, handheld computer.
Gen Z.
Give me the answers to life.
97 to 2012. So they are Alpha.
Yeah.
Okay, because our kids were born in 2015 and in 2017. Anyhow, so Gen Alpha, we have Gen Alpha slang that has entered our house. It was a few months ago that our son, who's 10, accidentally broed me. And I was like, yeah, absolutely not. Nah. And I remember my parents, when I remember saying dude to my parents and they were like, absolutely not. And I'm like, will you calm down? And now that I've been broed, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Understand. Like I need to call my parents.
The first time I duded my mom.
Oh, how did that go?
She just looked at me. Did you just call me dude? Yeah, dude.
Your
or
mom's
I call
so
my
like,
sister bro. That's my favorite too.
Bro. I call my sister all kinds of things. I don't even know like the list. It's just whatever happens that day. But we have a fun relationship like that.
Many can't be said on the podcast.
I don't think any of them are inappropriate. but it wouldn't shock me if one just came out. But anyhow, so that happened. And then another one that walked into the house recently is 6'7". And if you don't know what that means, or rather, if you don't know what that is, no one knows what it means. I've heard a bunch of people, they're like, we understand the meaning. I don't think you do.
Nonsense.
It's nonsense. And that came in, and both of our kids are 10 and our 8-year-old, 6'7", 6'7", all the time. 6'7". They would reset the thermostat if we let them. They would have that many Cheerios in a bowl. Like, that is the new thing. Anyway, so slang has started coming into our house, and that's terrifying because it means they're getting big in there. Whatever. So anyhow, sorry. I don't know why I felt like I needed to say it.
It was written on the back of a big dump truck on my way home from dropping the kids off. Somebody had written it like in the dust, 6'7" on the back.
Oh, that's funny. We were at Dairy Queen getting like dip cones because we do that now and again after school for fun. And the total was like 670. I can't even remember what it was, but it was a 6'7" thing.
Lost their mind.
And it was the first time I had heard it, 6'7", 6'7". And I'm like, what the heck? What is that even? What are you doing?
What are you saying?
What are you saying? And they're like, oh, it's this thing we say now. Like, it's just like this fact of the life. Anyway, sorry. So normally on the podcast, we always start with a game just to let you get to know somebody a little bit. I actually forgot to come up with a game today. We're just going to be really boring and not play a game. We've already talked about weird slang and things like that. We've rambled enough. We'll just keep on going. We'll keep on keeping on today.
Maybe one will come to us later.
Maybe one. Maybe. We got a fun new game the other day. We love games. You can't see it. We have like a whole set of shelves over here. It was called Quictionary.
Yep.
Oops. Anyway.
It's one of the facets of if you listen to the last episode.
Oh, yeah.
About providential
that we recorded together. Yeah.
Work. I'm not going to say them in order. Is there really an order?
No, but you work together, play together, talk about life and God.
That's one of our
and
plays. We like to play games, card
play
games or board games, or if anybody plays Phase 10, we play Phase 10, just 2 people, which it moves pretty quick. But then
we had to add phases.
We added phases. We had to like come up with our own, and we have them on a little laminated card.
Yeah, I laminated it. This tells you a lot about us right now.
It was fun.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. A blast. We love doing that. But I actually, speaking of like playing together, we need to, and I said this the other day, we need to do a series where we talk about each of the elements of the providential relationships because I think they all matter.
That'll be good.
Yeah, be fun. But playing together, let's start there as we start talking about parenting. So I'm going to set the timer for us to talk about parenting. It's a 15-minute timer. We'll try we'll try to stick to it. And
commencing countdown.
So I'm going to start it. Oh,
bye lights.
Alexa, turn the lights on. There we go.
Or have our robot pre-programmed to turn the lights off so we don't waste electricity.
There you go. But now they're back on. All right, hold on. Let me tell my watch. Set a timer for 15 minutes. All right, 15 minutes.
All the smart things in our world.
Parenting. Yeah, normally we have a big hourglass. So parenting. So we talked about this in a relationship about working together, but we just listed them. All great relationships, you work together, play together, talk about life and God, and eat together. The same is true with your kids. You have to have those different elements together. Working together, it's like working side by side with your kids. There's something really significant to that towards a shared goal. And it's easier, honestly, it is easier to do things without your kids. Let's be really real. It is so much more convenient to bake the thing without the kids. It is so much more convenient because they don't gripe, they don't whine, they don't, you can just you go over there,
clean up the
iPad
room.
generation,
Right.
It's easier just to do it yourself. Go look at the screen
while I do the work.
Absolutely.
I can do it faster. I can do it without having to stop and explain it 3 times and then correct it when it's not done.
Yeah.
And you're not 37 years old. You can't do this right the first time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And part of it is working together. I remember we asked the kids to do something recently. It was like clean up the bathroom. Why are the kids' bathroom is always a disaster. Yeah. But we asked the kids to do something and then realized we had never taught them to do that. And so having that's tough, but working together, there's something so significant about that. And, of course, eating together, we have gotten, we as a generation, have gotten really bad about not sitting at the table and eating together. And you absolutely insist on this. You have led our family so well in this,
Mm.
where that if you ask our kids like their favorite part of the day, I think one of them, when we
It's
asked that
Finn,
recently, said eating dinner together. And ask your kids that. What's your favorite part of our day? When do you feel most loved? Things like that. And so because you kind of have to realize that the way we love others isn't necessarily how they receive love. So it's important to ask those questions. So eat together, talk about life and God. You can't rely on just Sunday mornings. If you take your kids and put them in Sunday school, for that to be their spiritual formation. Like, no, you have to have the conversations, whether you know a ton or you know very little. That's key. So sorry, I've done work together, talk about life and God, or eat together. I did talk about life and God in the context of that, and then play together. And playing together is so vital because playing is a safe space to push on boundaries in some way. Like, is this okay to say? Is this okay? Can I trust you? You said this, hey, can I trust you? What happens? Can I watch you win? And can I watch you lose? Like teaching kids to win and lose well, because it's not just, you think about teaching them to lose well and not like mope and things like that. It's just as important to teach them how to win well, because when they have won, it means everybody else has lost. And just learning to balance that. And I'm not, Lord have mercy, how many games nights have we had derailed because a kid could not handle losing?
Yeah, board game, card game, something. One kid is, winning and they're as smug as can be about it. Not being mean, they just don't. They have to learn how to win well and not rub it in everybody's face.
Yeah.
And then somebody that's losing is just like the end of the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them were just like didn't even finish the game. We're like, and we will pick this up. We will try again tomorrow.
Something that we said, especially when our kids were younger, is that we don't negotiate with terrorists. And so like when somebody a big fit would happen or whatever, it's like, you're not going to derail the day for everyone else. Of course, there's been things that we've had to walk out of, and it's been unfortunate for everyone.
Right.
Because when a kid has consequences, you're grounding yourself just as much as you're grounding them.
And I think it's important for them to realize that their actions don't just affect them. At a certain
good.
age, eventually they need to see your actions affect our entire family.
Yeah.
And other people. It is not just about you.
Absolutely.
Your choices are not, and the consequences, good or bad, of those choices are not isolated.
Yeah. It's something critical even within the providential relationship. So let's talk about like talking about life and God. You don't have the same conversations with a 3-year-old that you do a 13-year-old, that you do a 23-year-old. Like, you are always meeting kids where they're at, understanding that they're not going to always be at the same place at the same time and things like that. Like, our kids are so different. And we cannot have the same expectations, in quotations. We do have the same expectations. We can't have.
They're still individuals. I mean, how those expectations are applied to them are different sometimes.
Yes.
A lot of the expectations are exactly the same because they're still kids. They are the same in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
They have very different personalities.
Yes.
They see and process the world differently. They respond to input very differently. And I find a lot of, somebody, they'll make a mistake or they'll tell you about their day or something happened, is trying not to react to what they're telling you, react to what they did, and giving it a moment and realizing, taking a moment to be like, which kid am I talking to?
Yeah.
And how is it best to respond to them? I find that very difficult to do. That's one of the most difficult things I've found as a parent growing and learning to do is because they are different.
Oh, so different. And maybe, I don't think I stated it well, because you're right. They should have the same expectations. Just like in the world, we have to follow the law and drive specific ways, and all of those, like the expectations should be the same across the board. So maybe it's not that the expectations are the same, but it's like we parent differently.
Yeah. Expectations are the wrong word. We have the same expectations for them.
Yeah.
They are kind, loving people, and they treat people like they need to be treated. And
yeah.
they put forth their effort.
That's that's the goal. Is that's what I pray with them. We have a light on the way to school. Wes established this
prayer light,
and that's where we pray. And my prayer that I pray over them daily is, it's kindness. It's the first question I ask when they get in the car. Who were you kind to today? Because we talk about often how that is how so many people are going to experience God's love. Like that is, we experience God's love through one another so often. That's one of the ways. And so we want to make sure that we're consistently making them understand that is their job, is to be kind, is to be loving. It's so often it's easy to be like, well, they said, well, they did, like, your job is this. It doesn't mean be a doormat. It doesn't mean don't set boundaries. We have a situation with one of our kids where we've really been having to work with them when somebody is unkind. You have to hold the standard of kindness. But it's okay to go, hey, they're little kids. And so, hey, we're not going to play together right now because you keep treating me this way. But it does not mean you can't be like, well, you're the worst. It's like you have to handle it. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I think that parenting, especially in those situations where you have no idea, you're like, I have no idea what to do about. That situation is a little bit more clear cut about teaching about appropriate boundaries and things. But there's plenty of things that are like, I don't know how to do this. And there's kind of two things about this. One, I've never experienced something that is daily and constant that drives you more towards God than parenting.
Yep.
Because at some point you're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm doing. Generally, I know how to feed my kid. I know how to make food. I know how to get clothes.
Do I though? I'm a terrible cook. That's why I said that.
I'm the cook in our family.
Yes.
Okay.
So sorry, you were saying something great.
I know how to do functional things, but the desire it goes back to, it's like I've been given this charge of stewarding these kids and driving them and pointing them towards God. And the weight of that is staggering sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes you're like, oh gosh, if there's one thing I have to get right, it's this. And then realizing that's not something that I can do alone.
Yeah.
That's God. That's a God thing. And so then just driving you towards scripture and God and praying for your kids. And then out of that is comes the love of God in your own life. Feeling God's love through the action of parenting. It changes your perspective on so many things. And it's, one of the most, like I said, the beginning, it's one of the most difficult but simultaneously most fulfilling things. And somehow that's what God's love is like. It's like the sacrifice and the things it takes to be kind and show God's love to the world is not always cakewalk.
Yeah.
But is what we were created to do.
Yeah.
And parenting, it's such a complete way to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. For those who are parents.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so I want to take two big picture things. First of all, and I mentioned this earlier, you just were talking about the most important part of parenting is raising godly children, raising children who know Him
and know who they are.
Yeah, it's raising them in a way that
their identity in Christ.
Yes, it's knowing, it's raising a child in the way that they should go, so that when they're older, they don't depart from it. And of course, they're going to depart in their own ways. They're going to push on boundaries. They're going to have to wrestle with what it is that they believe. They're going to have to stop living off of our faith and start living off of theirs. And I hope we're establishing that well. But that at the end of the day is what matters. Something I have to pray over one of our kids specifically is like, God, help me to see who you have created them to be and not who I want them to be. Like, God, help me to seek you out so that I can help them live out their unique purpose and not just like live, what's the word? Like vicariously through them, because I think it's so easy to put our expectations on them. And really seeking God in
your own experiences and your own childhood and like these are the good things that I want, that I experienced, and these are the bad things. And you project all of that on your kids.
Absolutely.
And it forms your parenting style in a huge way.
Well, and then you have a kid that's trying
Knowingly
to,
or unknowingly.
kids they want to meet your expectations, and they want your approval, and when
attention.
They want your attention, they
One
want
way
all
or
of those
another.
things, and so if they're trying to fit into, if they're the a square peg is meant to fit in a square hole, when what you are providing them is a round hole, they're going to constantly feel like they are inadequate because they can't fit into that. And so I think as parents, it's so vital for us to really consider who God's created them to be.
Yeah, we try to view them as God sees them and not as we see them. Yeah.
And we talk about this often. We talked about this a great deal in another episode that we recorded that we keep referring to on working together, but shared goals are so vitally important to us. And
parenting especially.
And parenting. And so years ago, but let me say this, if you don't have a goal that you're working towards, you will parent haphazardly. You will. Stated or unstated, I think that they should be stated and in different directions, because big goals help us determine, little goals that help us determine the day-to-day ways that we interact with our kids, and especially as parents, co-parents, however that looks, or even within yourself. You're a single parent, or you have a spouse who's just not in alignment with what it is that you believe and things like that. It's still important for you to have a goal because it informs your daily decisions. And the same is true for parenting. And I feel like God gave us a cool vision for parenting years ago. And we did an assignment. I can't even remember. Was it in premarital counseling? Was it like 15 years ago that we did this?
I think it was in Purpose Path stuff.
Yeah, something like that. And so we were going through a cool class that talked about purpose, which was great. And we were meant to draw a picture of our future. And we drew almost identical things. If I remember correctly, yours was like a family sitting around a table. Mine was like a family standing around a kitchen island. But it was adult children who wanted to spend time with their family.
Yeah, who were still around and present. And
yes,
we got to be a family.
Yes.
Into later years.
Yeah. And I think that image, and of course, raising godly children who that's not an unstated thing. It's so ingrained in who we are that we don't have to state it all the time, but it is how we parent, and it is how, but that we have this image and we have this shared goal, and it has to inform everything underneath that. Like any goal in life, our goals will shape the way that we live in the moments. And so when we have parenting moments where one of us reacts to something or does something because we have stated goals, it's easy for us to go, hey, the way that I just spoke to our daughter,
you're outside the boundaries,
our son, or whatever. Hey, I don't think this is in alignment. Or, hey, I think we're being really unintentional about this. Or, hey, I can, whatever the thing is, it gives us a true north to help us. And of course, as God reveals stuff and shows us things and stuff, we have to adjust to that. And of course, because what he's sharing and impressing on us is always going to be more important than any kind of goal that we can set.
Right.
But then it's stating that. And we've had moments, both of us, where it's like, I feel like God's telling me this, and we've adjusted and supported that. And so big picture, you have to parent with intentionality. You have to state goals, and you have to let them inform the moment to moment.
Yeah. Your kids will get parented one way or another, by you intentionally or by the world.
Yeah.
And so intentionality and being okay with not knowing what to do all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then asking God for wisdom constantly.
Telling your kids, I have no idea what I'm doing. Just kidding. Don't say that.
Don't say this.
Don't say that. But maybe, hey, we're learning together. Hey, let's figure this out together. Because what that teaches them is that you desire to be on their team and to help them reach their goals. And so maybe when they're older, they still want to include you on their team when they don't have to anymore.
Yeah.
But,
I've even asked our kids, if I'm struggling to like help them with something, whether that's just talking through something or physically doing something, I have to like, okay, my methods are not, how I do this is different than how you need to do. Like, how can I help you? Like, how
Yes.
do you need help
yes.
with this? Sometimes it's a, brilliant answer. And you're just like, wow, my, 8-year-old is a genius and I'm a slug. Or you're like, no, candy will not help you sleep.
I see how you got here. Not really. I hear you, but this is definitely
that's not
happening.
Yeah.
Like, we're not always that patient or rarely that patient. It's more like, nope, get your butt in the bed, close the door, auf Wiedersehen, go to sleep
No
now.
more questions.
Oh, that's the big one. Oh
No
my
more
goodness.
questions.
No more questions. No more questions.
It's time for sleep.
No. Does this have to do with sleeping? Yes. So, and then you're like, okay, tell me. So giraffes, I'm like, what does this have to do with sleeping? Giraffes sleep. It's like, oh, Lord have mercy. Like, Lord have mercy. Like, it's just, parenting is difficult. Welcome to the show. All right. Any last thoughts? Rude comments?
No.
I like your insight. Glad you're here. Yeah.
Glad to do it.
Thanks for listening to the Everyday Truths podcast. Thank you to this stud muffin here for being on and being my guest today. And so hopefully, I hope this was helpful to you if you're a parent, if you have young kids in your life. And actually, I'll add, even though we're done, I will add that if you are someone who isn't a parent or you have other kids in your life, say nieces, nephews, whoever, we talked a lot about shared goals. Find out what their parents' goals are for them and be in alignment with that, because you can be on their team too. But figure out what those goals are, state them, and parent with that kind of intentionality, because it makes a big difference. And so hope this was helpful. If this was helpful for you, it certainly will be helpful for someone else. And so whoever just popped in your head, it's that person. And so go ahead and share that, like, comment, subscribe. It does a great deal to get the Everyday Truths ministry up off the ground. And so until next time.